A talking clock, also called a speaking clock and an auditory clock, is a timekeeping device that presents the time as sounds. It may present the time solely as sounds, such as a phone-based time service or a clock for the visually impaired, or may have a sound feature in addition to an analog or digital face. Although they would not be considered to be speaking, clocks have incorporated noisemakers such as clangs, chimes, gongs, melodies, and the sounds of cuckoos or roosters from almost the beginning of the mechanical clock. Soon after Thomas Edison's invention of the phonograph, the earliest attempts to make a clock that incorporated a voice were made. Around 1878, Frank Lambert invented a machine that used a voice recorded on a lead cylinder to call out the hours. Lambert used lead in place of Edison's soft tinfoil. In 1992, the Guinness Book of World Records recognized this as the oldest known sound recording that was playable, though that status now rests with a phonotogram of Edouard Leon Scott de Martinville, recorded in 1857. It is on display at the National Watch and Clock Museum in Columbia, Pennsylvania. Although there have been rumors that other talking clocks may have been produced afterward, it is not until around 1910 that another talking clock was introduced, when Bernhard Hiller created a clock that used a belt with a recording on it to announce the time. However, these belts were often broken by the hand tightening required, and all attempts to reproduce the celluloid ribbon have so far failed. In 1933, the first practical use of talking clocks was seen when Ernest Esclangon created a talking telephone time service in Paris, France. On its first day, February 14, 1933, more than 140,000 calls were received. London began a similar service 3 years later. This type of talking time service is still around, and more than 1 million calls per year are received for the NIS's telephone time of day service. In 1954, Ted Duncan Incorporated released the Hickory Dickory Clock, a crank toy intended for children. This clock used a record, needle, and tone arm to produce its sound. In 1968, the first truly portable talking clock, the Mattel Time Talking Clock, was released. In 1979, Sharp released the world's first quartz-based talking clock, the Talking Time CT660E, German version CT660G. Its silver transistor radio-like case contained complex LSI circuitry with 3 SMD-ICs, likely clock CPU, speech CPU, and sound IC, producing a speak and spell-like synthetic voice. At the front rim was a small LCD. The alarm spoke the time and also had a melody Boccherini's minuet. After 5 minutes the alarm repeated with the words "Please hurry." It also had stopwatch and countdown timer modes. The tiny controls to turn off alarm or set functions are hard to reach under a small bottom lid. In 1984, the Hattori Seiko released their famous pyramid-shaped talking clock, the Pyramid Talk. As a futuristic design object, even its LCD was hidden at the bottom, requiring the user to push the clock's top to hear it talk. Current talking clocks often include many more features than just giving the time. In these, the ability to speak the time is part of a wide range of voice capabilities, such as reading the weather and other information to the user. After the telephone time service, the next practical application of the talking clock was in the teaching of time telling to children. The first talking clock to be used for this purpose was the Mattel Time Talking Clock of 1968. Several other clocks of this type followed, including one featuring Thomas the Tank Engine. One of the latest ones, the Talking Clever Clock, includes a quiz button which asks questions such as "What time is it?" "What time will it be in an hour?" and "How much time has passed between 1 o'clock and 2:30?" Other educational talking clocks come in a kit designed to be assembled by children. Talking clocks can also be used with children whose learning disabilities may be partially offset by the reinforcement provided by hearing the time as well as seeing it. Talking clocks have found a natural home as an assistive technology for people who are blind or visually impaired. There are over 150 tabletop clocks and 50 types of watches that talk. Manufacturers of such clocks include Sharp, Panasonic, Radio Shack, and Verizon. In addition, one manufacturer purportedly produced a clock that would announce the time upon detecting a user's whistling signal. Many companies have used talking clocks as a novelty item to promote their brand. In 1987, the H.J. Heinz Company released a clock with the figure of Mr. Aristocrat, a tomato with a motif similar to Mr. Peanut. At alarm time, the clock said, "It's time to get up right away. Wait any longer and it's ketchup all day." Remember, Heinz is the thick rich one. At roughly the same time, Pillsbury created a similar clock with the character of Little Sprout. In recent years, the Coca-Cola Polar Bear, the red and yellow M&M's characters, the Pillsbury Doughboy, a Camel Soup Girl, and others have at one time appeared on a talking clock. One of the more interesting branded clocks was produced by Energizer and was a soft, battery-shaped clock whose alarm was turned off by punching it or throwing it against a hard surface. The inexpensiveness of modern speech technology has allowed manufacturers to include talking clock capabilities into a wide range of products. Many of these are intended as conversation pieces or speak merely for the entertainment of hearing sounds or words spoken by an inanimate object. Such timepieces include Darth Vader clocks, calculators with time features, and even a painting of Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper that announces the time on the hour along with a quote from Jesus. Other themes of talking timepieces include fortune-telling, astrology, clocks with moving lips, animated creatures, sports and athletes, and movies, among others. Most modern talking clocks are based on speech synthesis integrated circuits that generate speech from sampled, stored data. The rapid technological progress of the 1980s enabled today's high-quality talking products. Early talking clocks employed chips that linked phonemes to generate speech. These products could generate unlimited speech, but it was of relatively poor quality that sounded robotic, at worst, unintelligible. Today's higher quality speech is produced by sampled data systems that take elements of an actual human voice. Modern voice synthesis technologies can produce synthesized vocabularies that retain the style of the speaker exactly and are not limited to just perfect English, but can be as varied as Scottish accents, Japanese, and even the voice of a young child. Such voices are all generated using tiny, inexpensive voice chips that are readily available. Almost all of the latest voice chip talking clocks incorporate the female human voice to announce the time. Dr. Mark McKinley, the president of the International Society of Talking Clock Collectors, proposes 3 possible explanations for this phenomenon. The female voice may be considered more soothing psychologically. It may be a relic of the female voice being historically associated with secretarial, administrative assistant, functions, or a feminine voice may possibly simply be softer in a less intrusive way. Many talking clocks include a light sensor or a setting that will automatically silence them between certain hours, usually between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. Many talking clocks of the 1970s utilized an Usen box, which is a mechanism similar to a phonograph, in which a needle-like stylus tracks on a 2.25-inch platter similar to a vinyl phonograph record. The Janax Corporation produced most of the clocks which use this device, and they are highly prized among collectors. A very large number of popular characters have appeared on talking clocks. The following list is not exhaustive, nor is it intended to be. The International Society of Talking Clocks Collectors, ISTC, has a museum collection of over 800 talking clocks. A speaking clock or talking clock is a live or recorded human voice service, usually accessed by telephone, that gives the correct time. The first telephone speaking clock service was introduced in France, in association with the Paris Observatory, on February 14, 1933. The format of the service is similar to that of radio time signal services. At set intervals, e.g. 10 seconds, a voice announces, for example, at the third stroke, the time will be 12:46 and 10 seconds, with 3 beeps following. Some countries have sponsored time announcements and include the sponsor's name in the message. Having a clock on your nightstand isn't convenient if you can't see it. That's why so many people with low vision love these talking clocks. The talking alarm clocks listed below offer convenience and peace of mind to anyone with impaired vision. Simply touching a button provides you the time in a pleasant, clearly spoken voice. Talking clocks feature easy-to-program alarms, and some even include multiple alarm settings. A talking clock for the blind makes for an ideal gift. Talking clock provides time reminder and custom reminder functions, suitable for time and periodic task reminders in daily work and life. It can also display date and time. Reminder methods include voice announcement and system notifications. This extension is especially suitable for people who often work for a long time with desktop computer, such as writers, programmers, and people who work remotely or indoors. Time reminder helps to manage the time while focusing on the work. Custom reminders are suitable for periodic daily affairs, such as remind me to have lunch at 11:30 every day. 1. Time reminder. It announces the time periodically by voice engine and / or system notification. The time interval can be set in the options of the extension: 5 minutes / 10 minutes / 15 minutes / 20 minutes / 30 minutes / 1 hour / 2 hours / 3 hours. In addition, there are several D&D, do not disturb, settings which enabled by default, such as don't remind me time if the browser is in full screen or playing video. 2. Custom reminder. Users can add custom reminders. Supported reminder types include: only once, only reminds on a specific date. Daily reminder, reminder at one or more time every day. Weekly reminder, choose one or more days from Monday to Sunday. Monthly reminder, choose one or more days from the first day to the last day every month. Annual reminder, choose one or more days every year, such as birthday reminder. All types can set one or more reminder time on the reminder day. In this way, on the one hand, it can meet the needs of multiple reminders in one day for one thing. For example, remind me to take medicine 3 times, in the morning, noon, and evening, every day. Just create a daily reminder, which sets 3 reminder time. On the other hand, multiple reminder time can be set for important things to avoid missing it. 3 o'clock. The pop-up page displays current time and date by clicking the extension icon. In addition, the extension icon itself can also display the time, not enabled by default. In the options for clock settings, you can set display analog clock or digital clock, whether to display seconds, whether to display the date, whether to display the time on the extension icon. 4. Other. In the extension's keyboard shortcut settings, Chrome / extension / shortcuts, you can set shortcuts for displaying the time and announcing the time. About reminder methods. You can use one or both of 2 reminder methods. Voice announcement, announce the time or custom content by text-to-speech engine. System notification, send a desktop notification. The voice announcement will make a sound, so it may not be suitable for everyone. In addition, if you forget to turn on the speaker or the volume is too low, you will not hear it. System notification may also be missed if it disappears automatically. So, system notification for time reminder will automatically disappear after a few seconds, because it's not very important. Custom reminders are more important than time reminder. So to prevent missing it, system notification for custom reminders will disappear automatically after 1 minute by default, not a few seconds. You can set this behavior for each custom reminder separately. In summary, voice announcements and system notifications can complement each other to avoid missing reminder. About text-to-speech, TDS. TDS includes the TDS provided by the operating system and the remote TDS provided by the browser. The former can be adjusted in the operating system settings, while the latter depends on the network connection. The operating system comes with a general voice effect. It is available offline. The voice provided by the browser is usually better, but it requires network connection. TDS is used by time reminder and custom reminders. In the extension options, you can set TDS voice. Each voice usually only supports text in one language, and may not read text correctly in other languages. How to open extension options. Right-click the extension icon, then click Options. Click the extension icon, move the mouse to the pop-up page, then click the setting icon in the upper right corner. This extension is not an alarm clock. It is suitable for daily affairs, but it is not an alarm clock. For example, if you want to catch a plane or get up early, please do not rely on this extension. Because the extension cannot issue a reminder when you exit the browser or when the computer goes into sleep. So it is not suitable for very important things. Note, due to a browser restriction, reminders/notifications may be delayed for a little time, less than 1 minute. Thank you for watching this video.